Hello and welcome. I'm today in the land of Austria, and I'm very honored to be able to sit here with a great artist whose first language we can say is music. He is the Grammy nominee for the Best Latin Jazz Album, and his name is Juan Garcia Herreros, and I would like to welcome you here, Juan.
Hello, Andrea. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm really happy that I'm sitting today with you, actually at your home.
Me too.
And let's talk about music today. And
That's what I love to talk about.
yeah, I knew so. Okay, your stage name actually is Snow Owl.
Yes.
And Snow Owl, I checked. It's a North American bird.
Yes.
And it has some Arctic origins.
Yes.
And for these birds, it's known that they have keen eyesight and also very good hearing, and
Yes.
symbolically,
Yes.
they represent an ancient wisdom keeper. So I don't know, I want to ask you, how is this connected with you and your music?
The snow owl is always able to see in the darkest places of the world or of the soul. And there's many moments and many characteristics of this snow owl, which this name was given to me in my Indian tribe. And there's many moments in my life where I have been able to use that quality, and also with my music. And I feel that music has that power to bring a person out of the darkness.
That's a beautiful way. Now we will love snow owls even more.
Yes.
But otherwise you are coming from Colombia.
Yes.
And I don't know, your first musical studies began with a flute when you were 9 years old. And when you moved actually to New York City with your family.
Yes.
Tell us, was this your own choice, the flute and the music, or who discovered who?
I like to say this in every interview because it's very important for me to say that the first rhythm that we ever hear, or the first frequency is the heart of your mother when you're inside of the womb. And it's a very deep frequency, and it has a rhythm depending on the emotion. And I think we're born in music already. So as a choice, music was never a choice for me. Being an agent of the universe, of the creator, I am just fulfilling my part. So it was never a choice. I knew that from the first conscious moments that I had in my life that I was here to make music. The flute was the first instrument, which was the only instrument which was available for me to study for free. So I grabbed the first one that I could. But all the time I was studying by myself piano, and then later started with electric bass.
Now you answered already on my question, is the musician born or it is made? And I see for
me,
some,
they are born.
they're born.
They're born.
And actually when you moved to Florida, you discovered electric bass.
Yes.
What is it that attracted you in this bass the most?
My brother was learning drums, and he said, a drummer needs a bass player. And I said, no, not bass. It's so boring. That was my first reaction, you know. I didn't really know enough about it. But I started to play bass. He forced me into it, and in the end I ended up, I'm very happy he did that because it changed my life. And I realized that it doesn't matter if it's bass, piccolo, it doesn't matter if it's a triangle. If you look at the instrument as a tool, then you can challenge the limits of that instrument and be every other instrument with it. So you can be a bass player if you want, but I don't feel like I'm a bass player, I'm a musician. So I can be the melody, or I can be the bass, or I can be the rhythm or the chords, anything. So your limit is your strength.
But you prefer bass?
I prefer music.
You prefer music? Wow. Okay. Some people would consider you lucky because you discovered your passion so early in your life, and other people are still searching for what is it that drives them most.
It
What
was.
do I say? This is a chance or a choice?
It's. I didn't discover it. I was very consciously aware that music is why I'm here on this planet. It was not a choice, it was not a discovery. It was just a very clear message from the universe that I had to do this.
And you're doing it greatly.
Thank you.
But still, you had to pursue your passion and learn some things on the way. What would you say was your biggest lesson through pursuing your passion?
The biggest lesson in music and I think in any career that you choose is the beauty of patience, because you never learn everything. The biggest lesson is patience, because the moment you say I know everything, you're finished. It's over. Move on to something else. And I've found that through music, you will discover every day new notes, new chords, new people, new countries, new traditions. It's all the time something new to learn and experience. So the lesson for me is patience.
We have the same lessons. Okay, from self-taught musician actually to Grammy nominated. And for best Latin jazz album, which is a big thing,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes, it was the first.
Yeah.
It was the first time that an electric bass player was received this nomination, and that had never happened before in the history of the Grammys. It was a big honor.
We can say you write a new history from your work. How do you feel now after this?
I'm honored from the nomination. I'm overwhelmed that my name is next to Chick Corea and Paquito de Rivera and all these wonderful. It's overwhelming, but it also showed me my potential. And music for me is not a competition. If I'm nominated, it's a great thing. I'm grateful for all the members of the Academy and all the musicians that have supported me all my life. But at the end of the day, it's just a prize, and this prize cannot heal people. Only you can. So that for me will always be the goal and the motivation.
I like it. But not only this award, you received many more awards already in your life in between, and some great awards.
The best award I've ever received is love.
Wow.
Any of the other awards is kind of for me useless.
Okay, so can you tell us the secret behind your success?
Love.
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 When you give love, you receive love. Or?
Love, patience, and understanding. Understanding. That's a big one. Because you have to have this empathy and relate to other people's, backgrounds and life experiences. So if you try to understand and try to be as understanding, if you have love with patience and open heart, which is understanding, then anything in life should not really be that complicated. It should just be a journey and a lesson.
So is this reflecting on your private life too, like in how you are in your life, how you are doing, how you are working?
There is no separation between the artist and my private life, because this is my life. And if there would be any kind of schizophrenia, that it would be two different people, it wouldn't be real.
When you're playing your 6-string electric bass, and this is your invention, isn't it?
Correct.
Anthony
Jackson invented the first contrabass guitar.
Okay, yeah.
And there's very few people that are playing it, this huge 6-string monster. But it's discovering me and I'm discovering it.
How do you feel when you're playing bass?
Once again, I don't feel like I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
I'm a musician who is a part of a ever-evolving, revolving energy between me and the musicians on the stage. So how I'm feeling, the first thing is I have to do my part. What the music is asking of me in that moment, that's what I do. But I'm also doing what the musicians are asking of me, what is required of me, so that they feel comfortable. So what am I feeling? I'm feeling people, I'm feeling the audience, I'm feeling the connection between the universe and the moment, the now. And that's a lot to feel. And I'm really glad you mentioned what am I feeling, because I'm not thinking. There's no time to think. Any thought during the creative process would be a separation.
And you mentioned already some of the qualities of the musician, but still I want to ask you, what do you think are main qualities for the great musician,
I remember some very humbling lessons that I experienced in working with musicians from Africa. And for example, no musician in Africa is great. And so these titles where you're saying something is better than something, or this thing, this is great and this is bad and this is this, that I think the people who are able to eliminate those prejudices and those limits of fear are what we see maybe as great, but they don't see themselves like that. They know, they understand that the fleet, how do you say, the duty must be done. And that they're going to do this whether there would be 1,000 people, 200,000 people watching or not. It's the same. How many hours does a musician, or how many hours does any student of life spend working on something before they even show it? There was no audience when I was first practicing. I did it because that's who I am. So whether there's people or not, I'm gonna do what I'm doing. So love is again for me the key, and self-confidence. Self-confidence.
Okay. And for you, they say that you can play whether the musical genre is jazz or it's pop or it's funk, salsa, that you can just play it and go with the rhythm. And you're, capable of performing with really great without actually artistic compromise.
Yes.
What is the secret of this versatility?
That there's the element of understanding. There's the element of saying, if my tool is a bass, there's a history of bass that needs to be learned and understood. And if you respect your tradition, you respect your role, then you should learn its history. A philosophy student would not go to a discussion or to a seminar to talk about philosophy unless he knows of the other philosophies. It's a question of learn as much as you can, then forget it all, and then present your interpretation of it, and give your torch to the next people. That's it. It's just a duty.
We should use this more in everyday life, I guess, between
Absolutely.
not only the music, but the music is the element, I guess, the key element now.
Not
that
the way children should be raised, the way we talk to each other, the way we treat each other. This should be implemented into the whole world.
And I recently read an article where it was said that jazz was not meant for the dinner table, but it is something with a heritage.
Yes.
And how do you feel jazz? And I don't know, what is your actually favorite rhythm?
This concept that jazz became some kind of dinner table music or elevator music, there's many reasons why that happened. Many people don't realize that this was a dance music. And if somebody feels a music and they want to move, then they should be able to. I never understood, it was very hard for me in Europe to see these amazing classical concerts with huge orchestras and choirs, but everybody's sitting there and they're not moving. That was very difficult for me. And what is my favorite rhythm? That is the rhythm. My favorite rhythm is the rhythm of my art. That's what keeps me alive. So it keeps me going.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You're now living in Austria and working a lot in Vienna. What would you say? How does the city where you live affects your music and creative process?
If you're a regional musician, of course it affects your everyday life because you're limited to the styles that are being performed in the city and also the mentality of the city. But I'm traveling extensively, so it's hard to say that I'm really just based in one place. But yes, if you're somebody who is more regional, this will affect you a lot.
So if you maybe compare like Vienna and New York City when you lived, what are the differences and the environment for the musician like you?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. My philosophy to bring this music of Latin jazz to Europe and to try to make this music not just with the typical musicians from the South America, Caribbean, New York City. I really wanted to find that there must be places where other musicians are existing. So I like that New York is this massive monster where many people are coming and fighting every day to survive. It's very difficult. But the scenes are not, they're not so different because we're all so extremely connected now with internet and all this digital age and everything that in reality the music scene for me now is it's on the internet. Because if I want to see concerts in Japan, I just have to log on and I can sit there and watch them. Of course I don't have the feeling of the live energy, I'm not there, but in a way I am there. So yeah, I don't see much difference anymore. I see everything actually extremely flooded. I see everything extremely over-connected.
Yeah, we're going in a global civilization.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you were also in Slovenia. Actually, we met this way. You were performing in Dance Forum Celje.
Yes.
And in your concert, I really heard this joy in music.
Yes.
That for me was really capturing. I felt such a beautiful energy behind your music.
Thank you.
Or going through the music. I don't know, how do you transmit this joy to the public? What would you say about this?
By acknowledging the public. There's too many musicians that, in my opinion, are going on stage and they are not including the fact that there's people watching them. And they're also not, they're performing a kind of music which is showing more their conflict inside and their frustration inside as people, and then they kind of just lay that on people who are there to be entertained, to exchange energy. And a musician has a huge responsibility to understand that, a mother or a father has to organize maybe a babysitter to get to that concert, or they have to drive maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, or maybe somebody who is unemployed has to pay for that ticket. Like, these are all situations that musicians are not kind of respecting the humanity of what the audience is. So my feeling was always, if somebody takes the time to come and see me, they're not just gonna see a show, they're not just gonna, oh nice, no, they're gonna take a part of me with them home. They're gonna take that joy, the joy that they came. I want to show them the reason why they came. That's it. That's why it comes through.
Do you have? I had a feeling that you had the same joy when playing not only with the public but also with the musicians on the stage.
Yes.
And you were like talking music.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And is this always how it happens?
It has to be that way. I'm not on the stage alone. If it's a solo concert, you know, then it's different. You know, but I have to communicate with my musicians, and there's musicians on that stage that have performed with me over 15 years. So we know each other so well, there's so much trust. And yes, we get that feedback a lot, and the reason is we trust each other, we believe in each other, and whatever weakness one person has, the other has the strength to carry them. So it's one thing, it's not just, you know, a leader and that. No, it's really a band.
We could transmit this to the, you know, I think the community would need more understanding on music, how it works to be in a band, to actually be able to live together.
Correct,
And be
correct.
together.
There's a huge difference between a boss and a leader. You know, the boss is just ordering around and doing that. The leader is in the fire pit with them, fighting.
Good. Can you maybe describe the process, because you're writing your own music?
Yes.
And what is this process for you like? I don't know, you even write lyrics
Yes.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the inspiration come from?
And the main source is always has to be my life. It has to be my time. I have to document the sound of my time, just like all the jazz greats or all the Latin greats or pop greats, whatever you want to call them. They were playing the music of their time or discovering the music of their time. And I refuse to be a copyist. I prefer to continue and be an evolutionist. So the inspiration is not hard to find. Just look around, just read a newspaper, just live. Look at what's happening in the world. There's more than enough reasons to make art right now, especially in the situation the world is in.
And yeah, let's talk about this situation the world is in. How do you see art coming in? How can art help, even in business work? Not because there is a lot happening there too.
Yes. I have a big issue with the concept that art should be for free. If a person, if a plumber or a chef goes to work and this is his love, this is his passion, and he's feeding his family with this passion, you know, and he drives, he does an installation for you and helps you to have water in your house. And a musician is sacrificing so much time, energy, and money to produce a creative work, or a painter, or a dancer, what a dancer does with their body, what they do to themselves. And then somebody just expects, okay, I'll just click it on an internet and download it for free. And that's completely, for me, disrespectful. This money for an artist helps him to do more CDs, helps him to feed his family. It helps him to have a financial stability to continue tours. You know, it's a very expensive thing to bring a band on tour. So the status of art in general is, it's flooded because of the internet. It's maybe too much available, and there is no differentiation of what is the real difference between some guy just playing very, very basic things, amateur things, to a professional. You see, both of them are available now on the same playing field, and it's like in a big game from Champions League. I'm a big fan of soccer, and you would not put Lionel Messi, you know, in the same, you know, team with an absolute beginner. You know, there's a difference. Now they can learn from each other, they can be inspired from each other, they can grow together, but there's a point where he needs a certain level to present what he needs to present. And the beginners, they need the inspiration. So the art right now, if there is no way of separating what is what anymore, then obviously the value is going to be lost. And if you lose the value, you lose the respect. And if you don't respect and value the arts, then a lot of musicians that should be getting financial help are not getting it. And these are people that really need to have that support. These are sensitive people. They need support. So the state of the arts, for me, it's sweet and sour. There's wonderful things that have happened, wonderful evolutions in every level, and at the same time, I've never seen art being that disrespected. So it's too extreme for me right now.
What would you say is the solution? Maybe you already sense it, the solution.
Education. Education, and again, understanding. It's about understanding. If I mean, look at all the generation of kids with the electronic devices, and they have 1,000 songs on the devices. They don't value that song. They don't have no idea what went behind to get that song out there. It's about understanding and education. Again, those three things: love, patience, understanding. That's everything.
Okay. And you're also a teacher. You also teach children, and you're in the faculty or university in the music here. What is the difference for you between teaching, giving classes, and playing? You know.
Now, two things. I was in the faculty of the university, and I'm still teaching master classes in all over the world in all the major universities, and it's an honor, of course. But at the same time, it's a contradiction, because I'm a self-taught musician, teaching people music. And how can you teach somebody, for example, jazz or Latin jazz? How can you teach somebody a music with a structure of a university when this music was created without the university? This is a very, very philosophical dilemma. And the reason why I focus on younger audiences, it's not because I have to. I don't need to. I don't have to do that. I'm well off with my concerts and my music. That's not the problem. The thing is, this is a privilege, the life that I have, and I can't just take. I have to give it back. What am I going to do with this experience and information and all of this? Just hold it for myself, and then one day it's gone. I'm not going to be on this planet forever. So I have to give it further. I have to give it to somebody else. So it just makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that, action, reaction, the balance of things. And some people might criticize an artist that might be famous for teaching. They might think, he's just doing it for money, or he's doing it for this, and they completely miss the point. This is about a duty again.
So that explains that you're also the ambassador for music education and integration.
Yes.
Can you share just a little bit more on this, and what is the integration part means actually?
There's a big issue in some European countries, not all of them. Or maybe all of them, I don't know. I don't live in all of them. That they tend to look at anything that is foreign as a threat. And I am extremely humbled and honored that the President of Austria asked me to speak with all the young students, visit the classes, and talk to them what's it like for a foreigner to come to Austria, learn German, learn the culture, and be able to mix yourself into the culture where you are enriching it, and then together bringing that message internationally, like I do. So that's basically what happened, and it's very important that we as artists see we're not politicians. We're not also the common person. I've always felt that the artist was in between. Here you have the society, the artists, and the politicians. And we were always the middle person in between all of them, criticizing what's happening in the world or showing what's happening in the world in a way that both sides would have a dialogue with each other.
Mm-hmm. So you think this is the main contribution of music that
Yes.
can bring to the society?
Every true artist is an ambassador.
You've also said, which I really love, the instruments are the body and the strings are the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Who or what is the musician?
just like my instrument is a tool, my soul is a tool from the universe. See, it's a constant transformation of energy. The soul that is in this body is touching a wood that was transformed from a tree into a melodic instrument, which is also touching metal and minerals that are vibrating on that wood, which then going out of a magnetic amplifier, which was also built by the hands of another person. You see, all these energies, all these people, the universe put that person to build that amplifier for me just as much as the bass. So it's my duty to play that bass. So the strings are the soul, the instrument is the body, the messenger is the musician.
Okay, and you have a great message to share.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, yes. What do you think is on the world? Now you mentioned listening, but really, from what I hear from you, you really have this deeper connection with life, and you listen to it. Do you think people, in the majority in the world, are listening to this connection with their life too, or?
I saw this once, and I found it fascinating that the word listen and silent is just changing one letter. So, or two letters. So yeah, I think that says it all.
Yeah.
Listen, see what you hear.
Okay, maybe you've collaborated with the big names already in the music industry, even with, I don't know, Al Jarreau, Christina Aguilera, I think, yeah, Elton John, and many other famous names from jazz music also.
Yes.
What was your favorite collaboration?
My favorite collaboration.
Or any interesting story to share from?
No, it's hard to say what's your favorite collaboration because everyone has a different lesson. Some are lessons in patience, some are lessons in love, some are lessons in understanding. If you know how to walk out of any situation, finding the lesson in it, then it's hard to say what's your favorite. I will say that one of the most beautiful things that touched me deeply, that ever happened to me, was flying into Turkey, in a country where I mean, what is a Colombian doing in Turkey? And I was asked by the great Demir Khan and Serta Berener to compose an album together. And somebody like Serta Berener, who's like Madonna, I mean, this is not a joke, one of the most wonderful voices I ever heard in my life, extremely famous. When she walks on the street, if there would be a piece of glass on the floor, the men put their jackets on the floor. I mean, just to give you an example. I saw that with my own eyes. But the most impacting thing was arriving in her private home, and she says, "Welcome, Snow Owl," and she asked me, "What would I like to eat?" And she cooked for me. That was pretty breathtaking for somebody who we think, again, this whole great thing, and you put all these things in. It's very, very human, very wonderful person.
Nice story. But maybe you have still any wishes. Who would you like to collaborate with still that you haven't yet? And since you're coming from, you have Latin genes, maybe with any Latin superstar like, I don't know, Ricky Martin.
The thing is this for me, the more that I have evolved, and the more that my music is evolving, and everything that I'm learning, the wish to collaborate with a name or a famous person or that, it's not that interesting for me anymore, because there is such a unique world happening inside of what is coming out of the universe through me, that I don't see the place for them. I don't see that. I see the place where I can be a reflection for them, just like they're a reflection for me, and I respect what they do, and hopefully they respect what I do. But I don't see the need. A lot of people have often said to me, you should invite this famous musician and this famous musician. I don't want to do that. I don't know who these people are. I need to know who they are as people, not just because they can do an instrument good, that they can play virtuoso. Doesn't interest me. Interests me, who are they as human beings? Do they understand the duty of the universe? Do they understand what it means to carry light and shine it? And if they're not able to do that, it doesn't interest me, because it's a kind of poison and how do you say, handicap to what I'm doing. You know, everybody has to be on the same page.
And from the people that you feel that are on the same page with you, do you have any role model, like not putting it on the pedestal, but like feeling that I would like to, I don't know, meet that person and do something with him or her because of being on the same page? Any role model here?
Listen, for me, a role model, I mean, a perfect example is finishing a concert in the south of France at 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I had to drive through Switzerland right after the concert, and there was workers, it was not the easiest climate, not the easiest conditions, that are taking care of the road and the tunnels, and they're maintaining all of that, and they're preparing all of that so that I can go to my next concert or to my next destination. So anybody who is helping me, my message, my art, to get from point A to point B in whatever way, those are my role models.
I think if more people would act like this, we would have a better world already. Really. Okay, maybe just to wrap it up, how do you see you achieved a lot already in many ways, in inner growth and in outer?
Like many things, I have achieved nothing. I am nothing.
Why do you say, where does your path still lead? Do you sense what path is calling your name?
There's only one road for me now, and that is the blue road.
The blue road? Can you explain?
I think the people who know what that is, will they understand what I just said.
Okay.
Yes, and I think that the people who don't know, very soon they will get this message.
Thank you. Maybe the message that you feel you would like to share now with the people. There's only one message and one true powerful force, and that is love and light. And if you do this in everything that you do, doesn't matter if it's the simplest thing, if it's making a coffee for somebody, if you do it with love, this person is drinking coffee with love, and then carrying that in their body. If it's whatever it is that you're doing, love what you do, and respect and understand that even if somebody is not on the same road that you're on, it doesn't mean it's the wrong road. It's their road. And I think that applies to everything in life. And we criticize each other too much. We judge each other too much. And it's time that we help each other,
more and we love each other more.
Thank you so much. It's a beautiful message, and I really would invite you all to take it in and to just be with it, with this message that Juan just shared, and try to feel your inner light and shine it out, because it's time, and we came here to be who we are, and we are love. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you, Andrea.
And I wish you, today it's actually the International Jazz Day.
Yes.
We didn't spoke about this, I can mention still,
Yes,
because you're
sure.
having the concert today.
Yes, in a couple of hours.
In a couple of hours.
That's right.
And I know it's going to be a beautiful concert. And you're actually writing the history here in Austria, because it's the first time that...
It's never happened before in the Styrian Alps, yes.
Yes. And you're also the messenger for the music and the jazz here. So
The music is the message.
the music is the messenger. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for inspiring
pleasure.
the world.
My pleasure.
And wish you good luck
Thank you.
and all the best. And shine on.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you all for watching. And as we said, be love, shine love. And please be inspired by the music. Thank you and bye-bye.